These leads suck. I've heard it 100 times. I've heard it from every agent possible. I've heard it from every source, whether it's Zillow, Realtor.com, Facebook ads, pay-per-click, you name it. I've heard these leads suck. Well, it's probably not the leads. And you probably just need to understand a thing or two about internet leads. So I'm going to break those things down for you here in this video. My name's Chad Leonberg, and I've helped hundreds of agents hit six figures in real estate using our Shark Partner program. If you're interested in what we offer, feel free to shoot me a DM at the contact info below. All right, so internet leads. First thing people don't realize is they actually have to work them. You know, I think most people look for a lead generation source that avoids the things they don't want to do. So for people that are looking at internet leads, I think they don't want to cold call. They don't want to be in person. They want to sit behind a desk more. Generally, I know because it's probably more of what I wanted to do when I got into business. But the thing people fail to realize is what it's like on the other side. So let's take Zillow, for example. You click I'm interested in a property and you've got, people calling you, you're interested in looking at homes. Now it's Zillow's team and they're just asking you basic questions, right? You're busy, you might miss the call, you might not, right? Then you get connected with an agent. You don't understand how commission works. You don't understand that they're there to represent you. You're just clicking on the home that you inquired on. So it's going to take a few times, and it's going to take beating a message into their head to realize hey, I'm here to help, but this is how commission works. You have to explain these things to the person you're talking to. And then you take a Facebook ad, for example, they just clicked on something, right? And then they went about their day. So here's why speed to lead matters. I'm going to take you through the things you've already heard about leads, but I'm going to take you through it from the perspective of the consumer and not from your perspective. So speed to lead, there's all the data in the world that shows that it's crucial. Here's why. You click on a Facebook ad, and that person, you might have saw their name that did the ad. You might have seen that. If there's no follow-up in the first 1 to 5 minutes, right? Let's picture it comes in at minute 25 even. You've forgotten that you've even clicked on it probably at that point, right? It's out of their mind. Now imagine if right after clicking on the ad, a text comes, and then about a minute later a call comes and says, hey, I saw you're looking at homes, this is Chad, and then the call comes, and maybe you don't answer, but they left a voicemail, hey, it's Chad, and then tomorrow, hey, Chad, just checking back with you. You're gonna remember that person a lot more. So think about the difference there. And then don't even get me started on somebody who hasn't followed up for 1 or 2 or 3 days, which contrary to popular belief, it's real. I've seen it. We have worked with a lot of agents where their follow-up is non-existent, multiple days behind. They think the follow-up works around their schedule and not the consumer schedule. Here's the thing. Money doesn't care. Money doesn't care that you don't want to make cold calls. Money doesn't care that you're busy. Money doesn't care about any of that stuff. And I was aware of that concept when I started, and I think why I had so much success with internet leads is I understood. I looked at the stats. Speed to lead's important. Consistent follow-up's important. Being real, being authentic on the phone is important, on text, on email, you name it. Having an automation campaign in place to help you whenever you are busy is important. So I just did all of them. I did everything. I shook the piggy bank. You always hear me say, when I was in the beginning, I wanted every penny out of that piggy bank. And that's how I did 60 deals in my second year as an agent. So speed to lead is super crucial. But the other thing is, thinking that you're going to buy lead or pay for marketing and it just have ready to go buyers and sellers drop in your lap. There are low-hanging fruits that come from every lead source, even Facebook and Google pay-per-click included. Those are earlier in the pipeline leads, whereas Zillow maybe and Realtor.com are probably later in the pipeline leads. But even Facebook and Google, even though they're earlier in the pipeline, you will still catch low-hanging fruits that are ready to buy and sell pretty, right when they come in. So here's the thing though. I've had some agents start leads from all these sources and they get 5 low-hanging fruits real fast. And they're real excited. And I've had some agents do this for 6 months and not see a low-hanging fruit until 6 months in. Unfortunately, that's how this business works. It's cyclical. You don't know which cycle you're entering when you enter the game. Consistency, and I mean consistency over 3, 6 months, mostly a year, is the only way you'll determine the true conversion rate, the true amount of low-hanging fruits, the true conversations it takes to get a deal. It's the only way. 3 months is still really light. It really takes 6 to 12 months to really know what that source is going to look like. And even though some sources like Zillow has people closer down the pipeline, right, and you might see more instant gratification, when you stay the course on, say, Zillow and like a pay-per-click or Facebook ads, when you do it over time and then get the true numbers out of those sources and then you compare it with the cost, you might be surprised at which one you find is better. I know for me personally, we ran Zillow for years because we could pay money and get sales. It was very fast in comparison to most of the other sources. But then whenever we switched over to Facebook leads, we saw a 90% reduction in cost, and we didn't see a 90% reduction in conversion rate, right? It might have increased the time, but it didn't do it at 90%. So I think that those are the factors you have to consider when looking at various sources. In my experience, Zillow is the most ready lead that you can kind of buy. Realtor.com, Homes, and a lot of those, they exist. Some of those other sources, I think they're very market specific. But that said, all of their costs had gone up significantly when the sales have gone down during some of these shifts recently. And those with the thin margins, and even our team, we had some Zillow spend, they got exposed that you can't really profit on them whenever markets shift like that. It's good when the money tree is good, but when it's not a sustainable source, it's super high cost. But if you look at pay-per-click and Facebook ads, and really what I think for me was learning the skill of marketing, learning how to put out a message out there that gets people to come in at low cost or at high quality. Having the control on that was the big missing piece when I spent time buying leads. So that's something else to consider, is that if you actually just get into marketing, like Facebook, Google, TikTok ads, you name it, YouTube ads, they all work. An ad delivers an impression. It delivers an impression. When it doesn't work is whenever your message isn't hitting, so you're not getting a good enough price because not per lead, because not enough people are opting in, or your follow-up sucks. So the leads suck if you suck. I ran Zillow leads when I started and crushed it. 23 units in my first year and 60 in my second. Agents in my office literally said I was hacking the system, the brokerage office system, and stealing leads. That's what happened, because I did the work that they were unwilling to do, or I actually spoke to people like a human being instead of everyone that got on the phone, are you pre-approved? Are you pre-approved? Are you pre-approved? Like, I actually said, hey, how you doing? My name's Chad. Why'd you click on this house, right? Oh, cool. Why are you looking there? Well, ask them some questions. And then I finished up with, hey, have you talked with a lender yet? Think about that. What's more confrontational? Are you pre-approved? What happens? Well, you don't think I can get pre-approved? I can get pre-approved. Like, that's what happens. As opposed to my question, have you talked to the lender yet? Have you? Yes or no? And then you still get people like, well, I can get pre-approved. It's not going to be a problem. Oh, no problem at all. I'm just making sure. Look, I've had people, we've seen 20, 30 houses, and they came and they made an offer on a house and they realized there was identity theft and they weren't able to get that cleared for 30 days. So we weren't able to get the house that they wanted. And forget my time. That's for me to judge if I waste my time. They wasted 2 months worth of showings of their time, right? So it's just something for you. It's free credit advice too. You can basically get a lender's advice on what you should pay down, what you shouldn't, if you're ready, what loan type is good for you. So I think you should apply and just see where you're at. That's much smoother of a conversation, right? But instead of acknowledging that I was A, following up, and B, actually being a real human being and having a conversation and caring about what the person on the other side of the phone, what they think about me following up, what I'm asking them, how often I do it, all that stuff. With me actually caring about that, instead of thinking about those two things being a factor for why I had success with internet leads, they thought I hacked the system and stole their leads. It's hard to believe, but that's I can tell you, whenever you find success, particularly in real estate, you will find people will find every reason for why you do not deserve it. So anyway, if you're somebody that's considering internet leads of any source, first of all, feel free to DM me. I'm happy to give you my 2 cents on any. I've been through almost every lead generation tool you can think of, online, paid for, done yourself, done by a CRM, you name it. But ultimately, you need to be clear that most of them have a 1 to 3% conversion rate. You're going to need 30 to 100 leads before you get a sale. So you need to do the math. Can you stomach the cost of what it's going to take to get 30 to 100 leads to do a sale? Zillow might be the only exception, I feel like they are, but they weed through the leads for you, at least at the moment. They have an ISA group that calls the leads and make sure that there's basically a human being with a pulse on there before they transfer you the call. What this does is instead of the 30 or so it takes you to get a sale, it reduces it down to around 10 or 15. In our team's case, we were converting at a high level. We were more 1 out of every 7, right? But it was 250 per lead. Whereas we could generate leads on Facebook for anywhere from $1 to $10 a lead. So say if it's $5 a lead, 30 leads to a sale, a lot cheaper per sale than 250 times 7 to get a sale, if you catch my drift. But ultimately, if you can trade dollars for more dollars, I think that lead source is great. As long as it's net profitable, that's all you want to see as a business owner. But be wary when you have smaller margins, that when markets shift, that interest rates fluctuate, seasonality occurs with the holidays and different things, that you might get left out to dry on some of those lower margin lead sources, and you're going to have to watch them very closely. My advice, my mistake that I made is have control over your marketing so you can control the message. You can build a kind of cyclical proof marketing plan where you can get return on your dollars in any market that you're experiencing. All that said, once you've got that laid out, you have to follow up. You have to follow up. You have to have a system for following up. You have to do it regularly, consistently. And I feel like the only way I can make this make sense anymore to agents is just relating it to fitness and health. Let's take calorie tracking for instance, because I've experienced this personally. I have had people, and I've done it myself, that say, oh, I eat good. What does eating good look like? We don't know. We don't know until you first track your calories. So first you need to track your calories, and then eating good. Eating good, that's widely interpreted, right? Like, are we eating just the right amount of calories? But what are those calories when we look at the macros, right? Like, that's, if you've explored dieting in any way or form, you know that that's what it looks like. When somebody says they eat good, it's just, it doesn't actually mean anything unless you can have something that proves, okay, I eat 2,000 calories a day, these are my macro percentages, blah, blah, blah. And then you have something that you can control. Okay, I need to eat less carbs, or I need to eat 200 less calories, or I can actually have 200 more calories. I'm doing all right, right? You have something. And working your leads is no different. That is the point of a CRM. So you can track your follow-up. I follow up with my leads, Chad. That's what some agents tell me. I have good follow-up. I get them into a CRM. We have one of our own, so I see this firsthand. And 30 leads come in and they follow up with 5 once. It's real. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen, I'd say 70 to 80% of the times I worked with agents. So the CRM is first so you can see the calorie tracker, right? So we're seeing the body of work, but then do we see consistency? Right? Oh, we're at 2,000 calories a day this week, but next week you're at 2,500 this day, 3,000 the next day. You're slacking, right? It happens 90% of the time with agents we have seen come through our CRM, and we're able to see underneath the hood of their business. I wondered how agents weren't able to convert like I did on internet leads early on. I had great success early on in my career working internet leads, and then I saw the body of work, and that's what it is. I'm telling you, it's as simple as having consistent follow-up with the leads and being real and authentic and not wearing a mask. It's that simple. If you think it's any more complicated than that, you're confusing yourself. It's having a good price per lead, that finding how many leads it takes to get to a sale, having a consistent set of follow-up around that, so you have a body of work that you can increase by 10%, decrease by 10%, just adjust the amount of follow-up, until you get your metrics. And then you just rinse and repeat. That's what it is. But you know what it's not? It's not never jumping on the phone. It's not never sending text message. It's not having on it. It's not getting unsubscribe me, stop, F you, I'm going to sue you for your follow-up. They come through. Guess what? If you're doing internet leads in any form, you're going to get a text message that says, leave me alone, I hate you. You're going to get it. I hear from agents all the time, it just bothers me. Then this is not the right lead generation source for you. Go do something else, because that's what this involves. So ultimately, I hear many excuses, complaints, just all of the above about internet leads. And I think it's been the number one lead source I have worked through my real estate career and help agents work with. It's definitely my core competency when it comes to lead generation. So these are the lessons I have learned. I don't know everything. I just can share my experiences. I hope that was valuable to you because I know some of that stuff I had heard early on made sense to me. I implemented it. It worked. If you're somebody who thinks that you can avoid some of these calls and stuff like that because you did internet leads, well, I got news for you. It's probably not going to work. So that's the truth about internet leads. I hope it was valuable for you and gave you a shortcut to some of the lessons you need to learn on working them. If you want to see how we generate leads at 90% less than Zillow, what we kind of changed, feel free. I have a class down in the link below. You can check that out and jump on a call with me anytime. Happy to discuss what we do. I hope to add some value to you today. Thanks for tuning in. Please like and subscribe on the channel, and I'll see you at the top.